Hello, hello. I'm just still setting it up, so just hold on. Hello, I'm just still setting it up, so right now I'm just gonna go ahead and just wait until people show up to my live stream. I'm probably gonna go ahead and maybe put a banner. Um, yep. Hi, everyone. Welcome to my live stream. If you don't know who I am, my name is Lauren Goodkind, and I am a chess teacher in the San Francisco Bay Area. I've been teaching chess for the last 10 years to kids and adults. Most of my lessons right now are on Zoom, but some of them are in person. Um, I've also written 2 chess books. The first book that I wrote is 50 Poison Pieces. Well, this is Queen for a Day, but this is the 50 Poison Piece book. And then this is Queen for a Day. So I'm gonna officially start at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so that's in 2 minutes, and I have a lot to show you guys today. It will be very fun. Um, yeah, maybe I can turn on some music too. That'd be kind of fun. Let's see. Okay, I just turned on some music. So that's great. Okay. Hope that everyone is having a great day. And so you have probably have heard about this, but Magnus Carlsen, he's not going to be defending his World Chess Championship title. So I think that's interesting. Hi, you guys. Welcome to my live stream. I'm very excited to show you some awesome stuff today. If you have any questions, feel free to just type in the YouTube chat box. And it is 2 p.m., so therefore I'm gonna go ahead and show you some awesome stuff. The first thing I'm gonna show you is this position, and it is checkmate in one move. I'll give you guys some time to think about it. It's white to move. So how does white checkmate black? So feel free to just type something. If you know the answer, type it in the chat box in YouTube. So how does white, and just so that you know, white is going this way. So how does white checkmate black in one move? Queen goes to b7. Okay, that's a good try. However, the queen cannot go to b7, and the reason why is because this bishop is pinning the queen to the king. So therefore, the queen cannot go to b7. It's a good try. If this bishop was not here, then the queen can go to b7. But no, there's a bishop on g8, so we gotta think about something else. So if you guys just came on, the question is, it is white to move, and it's a checkmate in one. So Never Sleep suggested that the queen can go to b7 and do checkmate, but the queen cannot go to b7 because the bishop is pinning the queen to the king. So how do we go? Okay, so Never Sleep says bishop to h2. This is a good try. However, this is not a checkmate in one because the queen can go here, and so that's not checkmate. We want to do checkmate in one move. So come on, you just make one move and it's gonna be checkmate. How do we do that? So we tried queen at b7, but that doesn't work because this bishop is pinning the queen to the king. Bishop to h2 does not work because the queen could go to d6 to block the check. So how do we do checkmate in one move? Okay, so I'll give you guys some time to think about it, because I think this is a really fun puzzle. Okay, remember it's just checkmate in one. So since it's a checkmate in one, what you need to do is you need to consider all checks, because how does because you know that if you consider all checks, and if this is a checkmate in one, you know that one of the checks has to be a checkmate. So how does white give checkmate in one move? So you guys feel free to just type something in the YouTube chat box so I can read it. Okay, you guys, welcome to my live stream. Um, right now, this is a puzzle. It is checkmate in one, and white is going this way. How does white checkmate black in one move? So some suggestions was queen to b7, but that doesn't quite work because the bishop is pinning the queen to the king. Another person suggested queen to h2, but bishop bishop to h2, this does not work because the queen can go to d6 to block the check. So how does white checkmate black in one move? So in order to solve this puzzle, you need to consider all checks because one of the checks is a checkmate. So I'll give you guys some more hints. Notice that these two bishops, they are protecting these knights, so that's great. Notice that this king, it cannot go anywhere. Okay, so Jamal, I can't solve it. I am new. Okay, thanks for letting me know. Um, so okay, so you gotta consider all checks. Um, okay, so one hint is this rook is pinning the bishop to this king right now. So I'm pretty sure you guys will know. You gotta consider all checks. So think about all the checks that you can do. One check is a checkmate. So you guys feel free to just type something in the YouTube chat box. Queen goes to b3. Yes, that's the answer. Queen goes to b3, and this is the checkmate in one. Yes, there you go. Good job. This is a very interesting puzzle because it's checkmate in one, but it's very hard to see the right move. The reason why this is checkmate in one is because notice this rook, it is pinning this bishop to the king. So therefore, this bishop cannot capture the queen. And notice again, these two bishops, they're controlling, they're protecting these knights. So yeah, this is a very nice checkmate. So good job. So we're gonna move on, and our next position is this position, and in this position, it is white to move, and we want to win in this position. White is going this way. So how does white win? What should white's next move be? So you guys, if you guys know the if you guys have an idea, go ahead and just type something in the YouTube chat box so I can read it. So what should white do to okay, so JJ Liu says F7. Well, that's F7. Never Sleep says pawn to C7. Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and go pawn to C7. That's correct. Okay. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and move my rook over to D6 and check the king. So remember, we are playing for a win in this position. What should white do now? So of course, we have to move the king and get out of check, but it's very important. We gotta. It's very important for the king to go somewhere. Like we gotta quickly move the king. So where should we move the king to get out of check? Okay, Never Sleep says king to b7. Okay, that's a good try. Okay, the problem with king to b7. Okay, so again, we want to win. The problem with king to b7 is the king and pawn, they're all on the same line. So therefore, that can move the rook over to d7, and then the rook is pinning the pawn to the king. So if this king does go here, then the rook can just take the pawn, and then the game is going to be a draw. So therefore, moving the king to b7, that's a mistake. So we gotta move somewhere else. Never Sleep says king to c5. Okay, this is a good try, but but this is actually a mistake. Again, no, pay attention to what pieces are on the same line. Notice the pawn and king. Notice they're on the same line. So therefore, this rook is going to go all the way down to d1. And yeah, so if the pawn does get a queen, oopsie, this is going to be a big mistake because this rook is going to go here and check. Once this king gets out of check, then this rook can take this queen. So we gotta do something else. So JJ Liu says king to b5. Yep, that's correct. King to b5, that's good. So notice, the king and pawn, they're on different lines, so that's great. Okay, and since you moved the king to b5, I'm going to go ahead and move the rook over to d5 and check. And then again, we have to move the king to get out of check, but where should we move the king? Where should we move the king? So again, we want to win in this position. So where should we move the king? JJ Liu says king to b4. Yep, that's correct. Okay. Okay. So Never Sleep. I'm gonna just let you know, moving the king to c6, this is a mistake because again, the pawn and king, they're on the same line, and that means this rook can go here. And if the pawn does become a queen, then this rook can go to c1, and then this is going to be a skewer. So therefore, moving the king to c6, that's a mistake. JJ Liu says king to b4, and that's correct. So notice that the king and pawn, they're on two different lines, so that's very good. Okay, so Never Sleep said king to a6. Okay, this is a good try. The problem with this move is because this rook can simply go to c5, and then now the rook is attacking this pawn right now. So again, I think that king to a6 it's a try, but it doesn't quite work. JJ Liu says king to b4, and that's exactly what we're gonna do. Again, you are threatening to promote the pawn to a queen, so therefore I'm gonna go ahead and move my rook over to d4 and check the king. And then again, where should we move the king? So we gotta get out of check again. So where should we move this king now? Never Sleep says king to b3. Yep, that's correct. Very good. We're gonna go ahead and move king to b3. Again, notice the king and the pawn, they're on two different lines, so that's great. And right now, you are threatening to promote the pawn to a queen, so therefore, I'm gonna go ahead and move the rook over to d3 now. Okay, so I'm checking the king, and what should we do with the king right now? How should we get out of check? Never Sleep says king to c2, and that is correct. Yep, king goes to c2. Very, very good. Okay, and right now, the king and pawn, they're on the same line. You are attacking this rook, and it seems like I'm in big trouble right now because, again, um, I want to move my rook over to c3 and stop this pawn from promoting, but I can't just do that because then you just take my rook. But also notice that if I move the rook over here, then this pawn can simply just take the rook, right? And then the pawn becomes a queen. So that's not going to be good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and move my rook over to d4. What should we do now? Okay, so what should we... So Never Sleep says, wait, then stalemate. Yes, you need to ask, if I move here, where is my opponent going to deal? So, what should we do? So you want to promote the pawn to a queen? So, do you guys want to promote the pawn to a queen, or should we do something else? Okay. So I'm gonna give you guys, okay. So if we promote this pawn, okay, so king goes to c3. Okay, hold on for a second. If king goes to c3, the problem is that's gonna allow rook to d1, and again, if you promote the pawn to a queen, I'm gonna have a skewer. So therefore, moving the king to c3, that's a mistake. If we promote the, should we promote the pawn to a queen right now? King goes to c1. So the problem with king to c1 is then I have rook to c4, and then that's a rook fork. So what should we do in this position? Because we are going for a win. Should we promote? You want to guys want to promote the pawn to a queen? No. Okay, so what should we do? Okay, I'm gonna tell you guys, maybe some of you guys would think like promoting the pawn to a queen would be a good move, but this is actually a mistake. And the reason why is because okay, wait, hold on. I'm gonna just explain right now. Promoting the pawn to a queen, it seems to be very tempting, but this is a mistake because this rook can go to c4. The rook is forking the queen and the king at the same time. So therefore, if the queen does take the rook, then guess what? This is stalemate. So because of that, we want to promote the pawn to a which piece? Yeah, we're gonna promote this pawn, oh, sorry. We wanna promote the pawn, to a rook right now. Exactly. So this is an, under promotion, and sometimes that's okay. Sometimes you gotta promote the, pawn, to something else besides the queen. Okay, so let's just think about what's going on right now in this position. Um, white, if it was white to move, then this rook is threatening to go a8, and then that's going to be checkmate in 2. So therefore, and notice, my king, it can only go to these 2 squares. If I do move the king over to a2, then notice both kings are on the same line, 1 square apart. So that means that this rook can go here, and then that's going to be checkmate. So therefore, I need to stop the checkmate, and I'm going to go ahead and move the rook over to a4 right now. So what should white do now? What should white do? So rook goes to d8. Okay, okay, a waiting move. Okay, okay, so here, okay, hold on for a second. Okay, yeah, I've been getting all the answers right now. Okay, if we go rook to d8, this doesn't quite work, because I can move my rook over here and check, and if the king goes here, I'm gonna continue to check you, right? It's not going anywhere. So we want to move and make a threat, and JJ Liu says king to, well, you said king to b3. I think you meant to say king to b3. When you're playing chess, you want to move. You want to move and make a threat, or try to make 2 threats at the same time. And the move is king goes to b3. And this is such a beautiful move because, first of all, this king, it is attacking the rook. You're threatening to capture the rook, but also notice that this rook can go to c1, and then that's going to be checkmate. So therefore, I guess that's, I mean, that can't meet these 2 threats. So I guess the rook can go here. Like, again, if the king goes here to b1, then white's king can just capture the rook. So that's great. And again, if the rook goes here, then that's it. The king can just take the rook. If the rook decides to move away, the rook can go here, and then that's going to be checkmate. So because of that, this is the winning move, king to b3. Do you guys have any questions about this position? So as a recap, what we want to do is you want to push the pawn to c7, and then if the rook does check, then we're going to go ahead and move the king over to b5. It is a mistake to move the king to b7 or a7, because then the king and pawn are on the same line. It's also a mistake if you move the king on the c file, because again, the king and pawn are on the same line. The rook can go down here, and then this is going to be a draw. So as a recap, then the rook goes there, it checks the king. We simply just move the king over to b5. Rook goes to d5. King goes to b4. Check. King goes to b3. Rook goes to d3. And then once the king is on b3, you move the king to c2. And then if your opponent is smart enough, then the rook can go to d4. And then you have to remember to ask, if I move here, where is my opponent going to do? Because again, I think a lot of people want to promote the pawn to queen, but again, that's a big mistake because once this rook goes here, it checks the king and attacks the queen at the same time. Once the queen takes it, and then this is going to be stalemate. So that's why it's important to kind of think out of the box. In this position, you promote the pawn to a rook, and then white is in a winning position. So yes, I want to say thank you to David because he showed me the puzzle in the Checkmate one. That was a very awesome puzzle, by the way. Okay, what we're gonna do now is I am gonna go ahead and show you guys another position. And this is the position. So in this position, it is white to move, and black is going this way. And notice that black has a knight. Am I following the Olympiad? Briefly. So in this position, it is white to move. And what do you think the outcome should be in this position? So it's white to move. So black is going this way. So what should white what should white do? Yeah, so Never Sleep says it should be a draw. That's absolutely correct, but we need to figure out like where to move. JJ Lou says king to f1, and yep, that's correct. King goes to f1. Okay, and this is very, very important because this knight is on a white square. So if you go to king to f1, this is going to be an automatic. Yeah, this is going to be a draw. This move does one thing. First of all, it traps this king in the corner. This king cannot escape. And so because of that, black can only move the knight. So let's say that the knight goes here. Of course, we don't want this king to move out of the corner. So we gotta move king to f2. King cannot move. The pawn cannot move. So therefore, the knight, let's say that the knight goes here. We're gonna simply just move the king to f1. So notice that I'm just moving the king back and forth. That's very, very important. So let's say that the knight goes here and checks. We're gonna simply just move the king over to f2. Again, just moving the king back and forth. Let's say that the knight goes here. Of course, taking the knight would be a mistake because then this king can go to g1. The king can escape the corner, and then that can promote the pawn to a queen. So obviously, we do not want to capture the knight. We want to simply just move the king to f1, and then again the pawn and king that cannot move. So therefore, that's if the knight goes here, we simply just move the king back and forth, and then notice this black's knight cannot do anything. So that's very, very important. So if we go back to this position, you might be asking, okay, what happens if the king goes to f2? If we go king to f2, then black should win in this position. So just take a look at this bar right now. It says that it's a draw, but once I move the king, watch the bar drop, and now it says mate in 17. And because again, the knight and the king, they're on different color squares. So if you go king to f2, let's say that the knight goes to b6, we're going to go ahead and go king to f1. The knight is going to go to c4, king goes to f2, and then now the knight can go to d2, and then guess what? This knight is controlling the f1 square, so that means this king cannot go to f1. And if the king does go to e2, then guess what? The king can go to g2 or g1, and then black is going to go ahead and win this position. So that means you have to just remember is if you have a position like this, you want to move the king on the same color square as your opponent's knight, and then it should be a draw. Okay, so let's move on to another position. in this position, so now this is good because this puzzle exercise is going to help you with our next position, which is this. So in this position, it is white to move, and it's a draw, and black is going this way. So what should white do for the first move? What should white do in this position? Never sleep says king goes to f4. Okay. Okay, sorry, you meant knight to f4. Yeah. If we go king to f4, this is gonna be a mistake because the pawn can go here, and then the pawn is just gonna become a queen. So we definitely want to go knight to f4, and then this is a good move because um well, first of all, it does control the G2 square, so that's good. Okay, so it is black to move. Let's say that I move the pawn here. So we gotta be very careful right now. What happens if black moves the pawn to G2? How are we going to draw in this position? Okay, so a lot of people. Okay, so Never Sleep says knight takes pawn. Okay, that's a good try. Knight takes pawn. This is actually a mistake because we have to consider the king moving to g1. If the king goes to g1, can we stop this pawn from queening right now? No, we cannot. So therefore, we cannot capture this pawn. JJ says knight to h3, and this is a very important move. Notice that when we go knight to h3, notice it stops this king from going to g1. And notice that black only has one move, and that's for this pawn to promote, right? So let's say that the pawn promotes to a queen. What do we do now? What what should we do now? JJ says so it's actually not checkmate, but knight goes to f2, and notice that the knight's checking the king. Black's only move is for this queen to just take the knight, and then um, actually, Never Sleep. That is correct. If the queen was a rook, then that would be checkmate. But in this position, the only move is for the queen to take the knight, and once the king takes the queen, then this is going to be stalemate. So that's very, very beautiful. And then, what would you do if I promote the pawn to a knight? What would you do now? So notice that my knight it's checking the king and also attacking the knight too. So what should you do now? So this is tricky. Um the knight cannot go to f2 right now because the knight is checking the king. Okay, so some people say king goes to f2, and that is correct. Um, because again, if the knight goes here, and then I think that I hope you recognize the position. The knight is checking the king. We simply just move the king over to f1, and then again, the knight is on a white square, so we move the king to f1, and this is going to be a draw. Exactly, because again, the knight can go here. We simply just move the king back and forth. knight goes to d3, and then this is going to be a draw. The king should not take the knight right now. And then this is going to be a draw. So I hope you guys enjoyed this position. I'll show you guys some other variations. If the knight takes the knight, this would be a big mistake, because then the pawn can just take the knight, and then that's gonna be yeah, black is winning right now. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so yeah, knight checks it's tricky. I hope you guys enjoyed this position. So I noticed that we're gonna go ahead and move on. So I need to go ahead and set up a position, and the position is, let's go ahead and let's go ahead and okay, I think this is gonna be a fun position for you guys, so let me set this up right now. Okay, let me set this up. Okay, so I'm gonna have the pawn, and then pawn, and okay, so still setting this up. So I don't know if you guys follow the Daily Chess Championship news, but Magnus Carlsen, he is not defending his Daily Chess Championship title. So I think that's very, very interesting. So let me just continue to set this up. We've got a queen over here. We've got a queen over here, and we also have this bishop right over here. And let me just make sure that this is set up correctly, because I don't want to set up a puzzle, and if it's not set up correctly, that would not be good. So let me just make sure this is set up correctly right now. Okay, so this is looking very good. I'm gonna go ahead and the position. Oh shoot. Oh wait, it is black to move. It's okay, fine. I'm gonna just move here. Okay, that's minor. In this position, it is black to move. So the question is, what should black where should black move in this position? Do you guys have any idea? Any idea right now? So in this position, I want you to be creative right now. This bishop is very strong because it is controlling these two squares next to this king, but also notice there's also a knight right here. But the other key pieces is there's a queen on b7, and then there's also a queen on d6. So the question is, Never Sleep says queen goes to c5. Okay, that's a good try. Queen to c5, because it is checking the king. But can't the knight just go here right now? And then this is very difficult right now. For black right now. We gotta think a little bit out of the box right now. So it's not quite queen to c5. It's a good try, but not quite. We want to think about something else. Never Sleep says queen to c7. Yes, the answer is queen to c7. And you might be asking, yes, but this looks like a silly move because the queen can just take the queen, right? And this queen is not protected. But it's kind of funny because sometimes the silly moves are actually the best moves that you can make. So what happens if the queen takes the queen? Then what do we do now? knight goes to b3, and guess what? This is a checkmate. Okay, the reason why this is such a beautiful mate is because, first of all, it would be nice if the knight can go to b3, but cannot because of this queen. So when we move the queen over here, the queen is attacking the queen. If the king does go here, then guess what? We can simply we can just take this queen, right? So I think this was a very nice Never Sleep says queen to c6. Hold on. I think this also works too. So I think that's a good question. Queen to c7, queen to c6. I think both of them work. So that's great because if queen takes, then the knight goes there, and then that's a checkmate. So that's great. Okay, we are going to go ahead and move on to another position, and I hope that you guys like to attack. So let me set up another position. I'm going to go to analysis, and yeah. So do you guys like to attack in chess? I know that I do. Attacking in chess is very fun. Okay, let me go ahead and go here. Let me see. Oops, sorry. Let me go here. Let me go in. Yes, never. Yes, if I might. Okay, that's great. That's great. Okay, so let me continue to set this up. Chicken goes there. Okay, I gotta can we analyze a game one day? Yes. If you share one of your games with me, I will be happy to analyze your chess game for my YouTube channel. It's free of charge, by the way. I love to analyze beginner chess games. So yes, if you have a game you want me to analyze, I will be happy to analyze it for y'all. And analyzing is a great way to get better. Okay, let me set this up. Oh my god. Okay. And let's see, we have a position like this. We also have this rook over here. Okay, and let me make sure that this is set up correctly. You guys are doing a good job. Okay, yeah, no pawn. Oopsie, no. Okay. Pawn goes here, queen goes here. It goes here. There's no pawn here. Okay, look. Okay, you guys, in this position, it is white to move, and what should white do in this position? Okay, so I will talk about this position right now. Notice that black is threatening checkmate by moving the queen to g2. The queen can also go to h1, and that will be checkmate. Okay, right. And then the other thing we got to think about is this bishop. It is pinning this pawn to the king, so therefore we have to pay attention to what's going on, what pieces are on the same line. Okay, so I got some people want to go rook to e8, and yes, this is actually the correct move, even though it's not safe to move this rook over here. Again, the most obvious move is for this bishop to just take the rook, and that's what I'm going to do. And then what do we do now? What should white do in this position? Okay, JJ Liu says queen to h6. Yes. Okay. Wow, this was an easy puzzle for you guys. Queen takes pawn, and yep, this is correct. Notice again, this bishop, this pawn, and this king, they're on the same diagonal. So therefore, this pawn is pinned. This pawn cannot capture the queen. So therefore, Black's only move is to go king to g8, and then after that, queen takes the pawn on g7, and then that's a checkmate. Good job. That was a pretty easy puzzle for you guys. So that's great. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and move on. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay. So I'm gonna set up an attacking position for you guys. So let me go ahead and do that. Go here. So someone says, I watched some of your Delta Flight chess videos. I haven't figured out how to castle. It's very easy to castle. All you have to do is, if you want to castle kingside, you simply just move the king over there, and that's how you castle. And if you want to castle on the other side, yeah, you gotta just do some research. It's very easy to do. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and move on to our next position. So let me just make sure that I gotta just make sure that I set up this correctly. So just please be patient. Let me see. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna go to. Okay. There's a bishop, there's also a knight, there's also a bishop here. This king is over here. Okay. And then in this position, okay, no pawn here. Okay, there's a queen. There's also a bishop over here. Oh, okay. Thank you. Sometimes the computer glitches sometimes and doesn't allow the castle move. I'll try it next time I fight. Okay, great. Sounds good. Good to know. Okay, I think this is it. Let me just make sure that this is set up correctly. Pawn, rook, pawn, bishop, knight, pawn, bishop, queen. Okay, this is it. In this position, it is white to move. And you gotta figure out what the best move is. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys some hints. Notice this bishop, it is pinning this pawn to the king, so that means this pawn cannot move. I'll give you guys some time to think about it. So what should white do in this position? So if you guys like to attack, then you will like this puzzle. I think this is a very nice puzzle, by the way. Never Sleep says queen goes to g6 and yes. Okay. Yeah, the queen can go to yeah, the queen can go there. Yeah, that's interesting. You guys are on the right idea, but we wanna be more aggressive. Okay, bishop takes h6 right now. This is the move. And okay, so let me just talk about this move. Bishop takes pawn, and right now this is the best move because first of all, if the pawn does take the bishop, now we go queen to g6, and Look at this queen. The queen is attacking the king, is also attacking the knight. And again, the bishop is pinning the pawn to the king, so therefore this pawn cannot capture the queen. This is such a beautiful move because Black's only move is to move the king over to h8, and then now the queen can take the knight. And then let's say that the king goes here, and then White is in a winning position. So that was the answer for this puzzle is be aggressive, take the pawn on h6 with the bishop. So I think that's a really nice puzzle. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and move on to something else. So we're gonna go ahead and let's see. Okay, so let's move on. This is more attacking exercise for you guys. This one is white to move. Let me just set it up. Okay, yeah. Okay. 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 And this is white to move, by the way. I'm just setting up the back pieces right now. So queen and bishop, and then we also have this rook over here, knight, and then we also, yeah, that's good. Okay. Okay. I'm still setting this up. Okay, and we also have a knight, and we also have this bishop too. David says, when you have a chance, can you set up defensive positions? Sometimes defending gives me trouble in my games. Defending is harder than attacking. Yes, I can do that. I think it's good to learn how to attack and defend at the same time. That's great. In this position, let me just make sure this is set up correctly. It is white to move in this position. So just hold on for a second. I want to make sure this is set up correctly. Pawn, knight, pawn, queen, bishop, pawn, rook. Okay. And then it is set up correctly. Okay, so Never Sleep says pawn to e5. Okay, it doesn't quite work because the rook can just take this pawn. So we don't want to quite do that right now. Oh, I'm sorry, the pawn can just take this, right? Well, okay, we wanna do something else right now. So I want you to consider all checks. So consider all checks. The pieces that are very important, it's this bishop, this knight, and this queen. Consider all checks. Notice this bishop, it is attacking the knight on f6. JJ says knight to h6, and this is correct. Okay, so this is called an overloaded piece. Notice this pawn, it is protecting this knight, but notice that if the pawn attacks and captures the knight, then notice this pawn, it is not this pawn is not protecting the knight anymore. And so therefore this bishop can go ahead. the bishop can go ahead and just take this knight. And then this is such a powerful move because the bishop is attacking the queen. Also notice that this bishop is also controlling the g7 square. So if the bishop does go here, then how does white continue the attack? How does white continue? Queen goes to g3. Okay, it's also very important to ask, if I move here, is it safe? We have to go queen to g3. If we go queen to g4, this is a big mistake because this bishop can go ahead and just take the queen. So therefore, yeah, we want to go queen to g3. It checks the king. That can move the bishop to g4. If that's the case, then we can simply just go ahead and just take the bishop with the queen. And I tell my students, like, when you're attacking, you want to try to move your queen as close as possible to your opponent's king. If you can do that, most likely it's going to be checkmate. Black's only move is to go to king to f8, and then do you guys see the checkmate? I'm pretty sure you guys see the checkmate right now. Queen goes to g7, and then that's a checkmate. So let's just take a look at this position right here. In this position, we're going to simply move the knight over to h6. And so I showed you like what you should do if the pawn takes the knight. But what happens if the pawn doesn't take the knight and then the king goes to h8? What do you do now? So if the king goes to h8, then we're going to go ahead and go knight to f7, and then that's going to be a knight fork. That's beautiful because once Black's king gets out of the check, then the knight can just take the queen, and then white is up a queen. So this should be pretty easy for white right now. So that's great. I will set up another position for you guys. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay. So let me set this up. Okay. This is an interesting this is going to be an in-game position. Okay, let me go ahead and do that. Okay, pawn goes here. You guys are doing a great day. Good job today. Okay, king goes over here, pawn goes here, pawn is here. You have to think out of the box in this position. Okay. Okay, and I think this is it. Let me just make sure that this is set up correctly. Okay, in this position, it is white to move. And the question is, what should white do in this position? So you're saying, okay, I'm sorry, if the rook takes the pawn, then the king can go ahead and just take it. So yeah, you always want to ask, like, if I move here, is it safe? You need to always think ahead. This is taking a pawn, that would be a complete disaster. We don't want to do that. We're going to do something. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Try again. So the most important thing to know, the most valuable pawn that white has is the pawn on h6, because this is a passed pawn. But we gotta figure out how to win in this position. So what should white do? Rook goes to b3. Yes, let's just think about this move. Okay, hold on for a second. Rook goes to b3. This is actually the best move right now, but let's just talk about it. So the most right. So if the rook takes it, then what should white do? What should white do if the rook takes? King goes to h7, and then if you notice right now, black can't stop this pawn from queening. And then white is actually threatening checkmate. So that's the move. Let's say that black decides to not take the rook, and then let's say that the rook goes here. That means that white needs to get out of check. So let's say that the king goes here, and then let's say that I take the pawn. Then what should white do? Rook goes to b8, and then that's going to be checkmate. Very, very good. So the question is, what happens if okay, so yeah, rook goes there, king goes here. Yeah, and then yeah, black is not in good shape right now. So that's great. Okay, you guys, just to let you guys know, every Monday I do host a chess tournament at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I invite you guys to play in it. So I'm having it tonight. In order to join the tournament, just go to the Daily Chess Musings chess club, and if you click on my link, then you can join this way. Registration begins 1 hour before the event starts, so that's so you can join at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Yes, it is today. It should be fun. And then the most awesome thing about this is I get to broadcast everything on my YouTube channel. And I know you guys are on my YouTube channel, so that's great. The other thing I will offer, the other thing that I do is after the tournament ends, I like to analyze the players' chess games. So it's really fun. It's a great way to get better. And then the other thing is like, if you're under 1,000, if you want me to analyze one of your chess games, I would be happy to just analyze the chess game. If you want to send me a chess game, all you gotta do is just go to my website, Chess by Lauren. If you go to contact, if you copy the PGN, can you stay so I can send you a link in the chat? Yeah, I can stay. If you share the PGN of your chess game with me, and if you copy it right over here, you can email the game to me, and I'll be happy to just analyze the chess game. So no, I will be happy to analyze your chess game. It's fine. I mean, you don't have to be the 1,000. If you're above 1,000, that's perfectly fine. I'm still happy to do that. So I guess let me see something. Let me go to YouTube. Let me see. Oh, okay. Oops, no, I didn't mean to do that. Let me just go to my channel. Okay. My channel. Okay. So I just sent you guys the link. So that's if you want to share a game with me. And then if you want to play in the chess tournament tonight, I think you guys already know that, but it's this page right here. I'm gonna send it in the YouTube chat box. Okay, there we go. So okay, you guys, I hope you found this lecture to be beneficial. I had a great time showing you guys some awesome stuff, and hopefully you will play in the chess tournament tonight, and I will see you guys tomorrow at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So you guys take care and goodbye.